Okay, done. Can everyone see the screen?
Yes,
Yep,
thank
we
you.
can see that.
Okay, thank you. I'll introduce myself. My name is Donald Brown. As you can see at the bottom of the screen of the slide, I'm the treasurer of an initiative that George and Anna are involved in. Entitled the Friends of Lake Bosumtwi. Lake Bosumtwi, for those who aren't familiar with it, is the term means the antelope god. The lake is located in the Ashanti region of Ghana. It's a natural lake that was created. It's a crater lake that was created approximately just slightly over 1 million years ago. The residents, there are approximately 50,000 residents who live in 21 communities around the lake area. As you can see, I've shown a couple photographs, 3 photographs of the lake itself, one of the small communities, and also residents of a community in which we are currently working. The community is entitled, it's named Pepe, right along the shores of the lake. The primary livelihood of the lake is, the 3 primary livelihoods are fishing, farming, and regional recreational visitors. This provides the income and the substance of the living of the people around the lake area. The environment of the lake, and we've shown an aerial shot of it. It's a beautiful lake. It's surrounded by layers of trees with steep hills and a wide variety and assortment of animals and plants. In terms of the environment, the 3 primary issues that we've identified and that which we are focusing our attention is the pollution of the lake by plastic bottles and various plastic byproducts, liquid waste that is dumped or just into the lake, and soil erosion. All these three main factors, these 3 main elements, are having a very negative effect on the quality of the water and living in the lake and around the lake. In an attempt to deal with these 3 issues, we have formed the organization of Friends of Lake Bosumtwi. Our objective is to provide a sustainable living for lakeside communities. And we also, as George has mentioned, we want to begin attracting artists and people with artists, writers, poets to either vacation the lake or come to visit the lake as a retreat and to spend time around the lake and in the lake area.
Thank you.
Just a moment, please. We see our client as being the lake itself. We have 3 main things that we want to do. That is to promote activities that directly benefit the lake and the people who live on its shore, to encourage the reduction of pollution and encourage sustainability of the habitat around the lake, and to establish, hopefully, what we would call a Lake Bosumtwi Alliance, made up of chiefs, the elders, who can provide input and guidance to the things that they think are important with regards to preserving and saving the lake. We do have one initiative that is currently underway, and that is we are attempting to buy computers for a local school, and that school is in the community of Pepe. There are 233 lower and middle school students in this particular school. Surprisingly, or maybe not, there's not one single computer in this school at all. So what we're doing is attempting to raise $200,000 US in order to create a shared computer lab with 10 refurbished computers and guaranteed internet services. Here's just an overview. This slide is just an overview of some of the lake itself. And those who might have additional questions or want to contact us, can do it through this email and just contact myself or just send an email, and we can respond to any additional questions that you might have that we might not be able to have not covered during our Q&A here. So with that, I'm going to stop the share slide and take any Q&A questions that you might have.
Thank you very much, Donald. Mukesh has got the information on who wants to ask you a question, so I'll hand over to Mukesh.
Thanks a lot, Pat. Just going to go through the screen, see if there's anybody with electronic hands up at the moment. And I have one from Anya, who's got a hand up. Would you like to ask the question first, Anya?
Hi. It wasn't actually a question. It was just, I just wanted to fill in some of the bits that perhaps I think is important for people to know. Right. So the whole ambition, I'm part.
Anya, we've lost you again. The technology is playing fun and games with us today. Anya? We've lost her. I think we're going to have to do as the BBC say. Oh, Anya, you're back. You are. Anya, we lost you completely there. So what I would suggest you do, first of all, I'm going to stop the video because that takes up bandwidth, right? And then if you want to unmute yourself first before I stop the video. Okay, I'm going to stop video. Right, now, Anya, do you want to try speaking now?
I so apologize. I don't know if you can hear me now.
I can hear you now. You just have to speak slowly and clearly. The bandwidth, I'm not sure what's happening, but this is the challenges of technology today.
Yeah. So, I mean, because of the intermittent service we've had, I'll just keep it short. I know we've got lots of GoFundMe's going, but as this Zoom is emphasizing, there is a real need for us to support our comrades, friends, etc. in the continent, and this will enable. So I'd like people just to share the GoFundMe. I'll help to circulate as well. And, you know, it's really important to get digital literacy, to give access to the community, to the children, so that they can really begin to rebuild their own independence, economy through education, which is really the key to all of this. One of the things that George mentioned was a big economic blight on the villages was that their economics depends on plantain. They grow plantain, and the crops spoil because they do not have the place to store the harvest. And then there's also issues of transport, getting the produce to the markets in Kumasi. That can also cause issues. So, you know, there's tree planting, there's quite a lot that people can actually get involved in and support the Friends of Lake Bosumtwi initiative. So I'm going to keep plugging it, and I might actually I did write a piece in the Unite newsletter about 2 months ago, Raj, and I'm quite happy to write another piece on what the initiative is doing to, again, raise more awareness. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't have any other hands up at the moment. Oh, Raj has got his hand up. He's going to ask a question. And then I've got Sheila is going to ask a question from the NEU. Okay, Raj, you first, and then Sheila. Raj?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Would you like to ask your question?
Yeah, Donald, I want to ask a question about the lake itself. I mean, you talk about the pollution and plastic. Is there beneficial things that can be done for the lake in terms of environment, in terms of generating electricity, in terms of wind that the lake can utilize, as well as a tourist industry?
Let me speak to the last question, that part of that question first, and that's regarding the tourist industry. Absolutely. Making the lake and the cleaner will certainly have a positive impact in terms of the tourist industry and attracting people, not only residents and citizens of Ghana and other parts, but also outside of the country itself to the lake. With regards to solar energy or other things that can be done, Raj, we need to look at that. That has to be investigated. I don't have an answer to that question, but I think it certainly lends itself to the possibility of alternative energy sources. The key is that one of the reasons there's been a decline, one of the negative impacts of having the lake being, the water of the lake being polluted, is the fact that it's destroyed or decreased the fish population, which is, and since the people around that community are dependent upon fishing, that obviously has a negative impact on their sustainability. And those, these are the kind of issues that we have to address and that we plan on addressing with regards to what we're going to be doing with the lake and the people in that community. I hope that kind of comes close to answering your question.
Thank you.
Okay, Raj, I'm going to go to Sheila now. Sheila, would you like to unmute yourself and then ask Donald the question?
Yes, I was thinking about the school project.
Yes.
Here, the National Education Union, NEU, has quite a good record of working internationally with other teaching unions, but also supporting initiatives. For example, there are visits to Cuba and Palestine every year, but there's also been really important fundraising for example, Braille machines in Cuban schools and so on, and elsewhere in the world. And have you approached US teaching unions if they do something similar, or in fact, the National Education Union here in the UK?
No, we have not, and that's an excellent idea. That's something we certainly should consider. There have been a couple organizations that have come to us here in the United States through my contacts I have, prepared to donate computers. The problem we have now because of COVID is that you can't ship any international parcels out of the United States into Ghana. So we kind of shifted our strategy, and that's how we ended up attempting the GoFundMe. Because what we were going to do is just raise the money, buy the computers to Ghanaian business people, the businesses in Ghana. So number one, that kind of serves two purposes. It gets us around having to try to ship and pay the cost of shipping computers into the country. But I think most importantly, what that does, it generates income. It keeps money it puts money into the Ghanaian economy. So as opposed to buying computers, say in the United States or the UK, keeping that money in those economies and then shipping the computers out, we can actually put hard dollars into the Ghanaian economy. So that's how we ended up. There are two things, those are the two reasons we ended up going with the GoFundMe. Number one, we couldn't ship computers out of the United States into Ghana. And then we thought, okay, and suppose we'll just raise money, buy the computers in Ghana, put hard dollars into the Ghanaian economy, and then get the computers up to the school. And if we can only put one or two computers up there, it'll be more than what they have now. And personally, I'm going to go ahead and buy one computer myself and have it shipped up there. And that's a start. And this is important, and George can expound upon this, because we can go in and talk. The reason why we came up with the computers was it was generated basically by the headmaster of the school. We went up there and George spoke to the headmaster and the elders of the community, and asked them what was important to them, because I was going to donate books, reference books that I had, and have them ship over. He said, we need computers. We do not have computers. We had no idea that that was a problem until we actually went there and spoke to the people. And I believe that all politics is local, that you have to be there with people, find out what they want, and then you begin designing a program and initiatives that meet their particular needs. As opposed to being top down, I believe you do bottom up organizing. That's a long way around answering your question, Sheila, but I hope I did.
Yeah.
Donald, can I come in there? I used to be
Thank you.
vice chair of a recycling company, which was an initiative which was started over 20 years ago called Computer Aid. And it's a UK-based charity. And we did a lot of work in Ghana with the Schools for Africa project. And you may still want to investigate, because these are all refurbished equipment. Plus what we've been doing is sending containers with solar panels on the top. So they become like a mini classroom. But visit the Computer Aid website and look at some ways they've been, innovative ways they've been doing in terms of both education and training. And if you're looking also for libraries, there's a charity here in England called, which I can send to you later.
Thank you.
They actually build libraries in Africa. And recently, my children have just finished medical school a few years ago. And we said, what are you going to do with your books? I don't know, Dad. So I managed to get all of their medical books, and we've sent it to Kenya, and they've gone to a school there as medical books. But they also took lots of other things from my wife, who's a teacher. But these are ways and innovative ways where I know there's shipping issues, but there are still flights and there are still ships going between the various countries. I'm not sure how strict they are in the US, but in the UK, we are still importing and we're still exporting.
They're very strict in the US, and that information I would really appreciate it. That would be very good. We might find a way of getting this done by shipping things in out of the UK as opposed to trying to get them out of the US.
Might I suggest, it's a question or it's a short statement really. Maersk, M-A-E-R-S-K, are the biggest shipping of containers in the world. And I understand they're looking at ways in which they can develop their business during the pandemic. Maybe it's a good time to inquire of them whether they'd be prepared to waive the shipping charge to you and to other people who may be interested, so they can keep their shipping containers full. It's only a suggestion. That's M-A-E-R-S-K.
Will someone be kind enough to make sure that we are able to get all the references that are being given? I'd appreciate that. Can you do that, Raj? Or someone?
Yeah, Raj is our secretary on that. And the other thing I've just had in the chat box, Donald, is that there is another humanitarian agency called the Ahmadiyya Community.
Okay.
And they've been doing a lot of work in Africa, not just in water, but libraries and schools. And the Ahmadiyya Community, it's called Humanity First, which I've been involved with as well. And they do some tremendous work. And it's easier to get things in, having worked around the world, it's easier to get things done in Ghana than there is, say, Nigeria. And I think there's a real opportunity for yourselves to do that. Okay.
We welcome any joint ventures and cooperation that we can have. Not a problem. I appreciate all your suggestions.
Okay, there aren't any. There's no other questions come up on the chat box or from anybody. Oh, Grace is waving her hand. I'm not sure whether Grace is giving her. Okay, let me just Grace, you want to unmute yourself?
Basically, I was just going to ask in relation to what you just said, Donald, that if there's any way my organisation, WAPI, which is, I've put information in the chat bar, we empower young people right up to the age of, well, it goes up to 27, but 4 to 27, we've got lots of published books out. We're a writing group, Expressions, if we can collaborate, because our children, we work with libraries as well, and we can get together, get the books and do something with a school. However way I and my colleagues can support, we would love to do that.
Thank you so much, Grace. We would certainly appreciate it. If you can contact Anna,
yes,
she works with us, that would be very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'm going to hand back to Pat. Just mentioning that it's just coming up to 12 o'clock. It may